welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mustaha, one half of the Yusufs. I shared this channel with my sister, who is currently not with me because this video is about me and my smile. And if you're a returning sweetie, thank you so much for tuning in once again. I can't wait to share with you guys what my journey has been like to, get a smile makeover. A lot of you guys have been noticing, and a lot of you guys have commented and have just been so nice to me and telling me like how much, more beautiful my smile looks. So I just wanted to share a little bit about the journey with you guys because it's been a journey. It's been 2 months now since I got my smile makeover, and I've been, in the vlogs kind of just living about my life, and I wanted to take some time out to, kind of go through this with you guys and explain what happened. So a lot of you guys obviously don't know this, but this is something that I've been considering for about 2 years now. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the backstory as to why I even decided to do this to begin with, because I know some of you guys were saying, when I shared the whole journey on Instagram through stories, a lot of people were asking me, why are you even doing this? You have a great smile. You don't even need to get your teeth done. So I just wanted to give you guys a background story as to why I even needed to do this, or why I started to explore this to begin with. Basically, the reason why I did this was because I had a previous injury that occurred when I was about 5 or 6 years old, back in Somalia. So because of the injury, I've had to get my teeth done several times since probably around my teen years to about now. And it's been an ongoing struggle in my life. So I want to tell you guys the backstory as to what even happened to begin with. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, it was about the beginning of the civil war in Somalia, and my family was in the process of fleeing Somalia to kind of get to safety in North America. And it was the last couple of months where we had moved out of our house and started to make way to Kenya, or to Ethiopia, then Kenya. So prior to getting to Ethiopia, it was one of the last days that we were in Somalia. I was playing outside with my cousin at the time and my sister, and basically a man came out of nowhere, and we were playing in an abandoned lot that was across the street from the house that we were staying at. And a man just approached us and decided to attack me. I get really emotional every time I have to tell this story, because it was the first time that I was introduced to violence in my life. So it was kind of a huge shock to me, especially because I was a kid. I remember just running around a car with my cousin and my sister, and just kind of as soon as I came around the car, being met with a rock to the face. And after that point, I remember passing out, and the next thing I knew, I was being carried into my house, and I was covered in blood from my hair down to my legs. I was bleeding everywhere. I remember wearing a white dress, and everybody was hysterical, because up until then I was this very clean kid, never got my clothes dirty. I never broke a bone in my life. I was super careful, very well mannered. So imagine, my mom, she was so shocked. So they carried me in, and I remember the very next day we ended up leaving Somalia. So from that point on, we started the process of immigrating from Somalia all the way to Canada. And the first time I was able to get treatment, proper medical treatment, was in Canada. And I think I was about 10 years old at that time. And as you can imagine, my mouth had been through so much more trauma at that point, because I had to deal with unhealed wounds, infection. I had a dislodged tooth on my the inside of my lip. I obviously had broken teeth, but clearly that wasn't on the top of anybody's mind, because we had bigger problems to deal with at the time. And so it just kind of fell through the cracks for obvious reasons, because we were really just trying to survive. And so after that point, when we got to Canada, I remember I got my first treatment when I was about 10 years old. my father took me to a dentist who then restored my teeth and kind of gave me the smile that you guys had known previously. It was just like fillings that covered my tooth. So I had 4 broken teeth. I had to end up going through major root canal. Like it took several months to do several sets of root canal on my teeth just because of the underlying infections. And so after that point, the doctor or my dentist explained to me that it was something that I was going to have to do probably every 8 to 10 years. The fillings would kind of not last forever. So it was something that I knew that I would have to do every 8 to 10 years. And so right before I moved to Ohio, I ended up getting my teeth done again. And so I've been here for about 8 years. And so that time was fast approaching. And so I started to kind of look into dentists in my area, because I knew that going to get dental treatment abroad wasn't really an option for me because of my past trauma. And I just really wanted to find somebody that I can rely on in the long term for my dental issues, because I just knew that I wasn't gonna get an easy fix like everyone else that goes to Turkey and Dominican Republic and all those places. So then my journey began to search for the best doctor that I could find that could help me, come up with a long-term plan for my teeth. And that is where the journey began, and I found Dr. Neal Patel that I ended up working with. And I'm gonna start this video by, kind of taking you guys through my appointments to show you guys exactly how it went down, because I was able to film most of my visits. So I wanted to share with you guys what the process actually entailed, and for you guys to kind of learn with me as to what was going to be done to help me come up with a long-term solution. So let's get started. Okay, so during my first visit, I went in to just kind of go through exactly what my issues were, what my concerns were, to see the doctor and to see what it is that he can actually do in terms of treatment. And I learned a lot, honestly. It was kind of like a collaborative visit where I got to talk about what my concerns were, and then he got to then express to me what he thought he could do, and just from a medical standpoint as well as a cosmetic standpoint. So it was a really great visit, because that's when we really got to align on exactly what it is that I could potentially do.
And it sounds like you've never really been happy with the fix.
Yeah.
So I'm hopefully able to provide you something that you've dreamed of. So we'll figure that part out.
Okay.
I'm gonna start by looking in the mouth. Okay. And then I'll look at your x-rays, which the ladies took and Jen took last week.
Yeah.
And we'll put a plan together.
Okay.
Okay. Before I take a look, and the girls have already told me because you've explained it to them.
Yeah.
But I want to hear it from your own words. When you look in the mirror.
What bothers me the most is my lower teeth.
Your lower teeth. Okay.
Yes. Mainly because they're discolored due to the injury, and on top of that, the crowns or whatever the technology was that was used being outdated now. Mm-hmm. And I think the top is starting to go in that direction as well. Yeah. So I can see it in on the side. If I turn to the side, you can see a little bit of discoloration here.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like I want to get to it before it turns like this.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And smile. Your canines are gorgeous.
Oh, thanks.
But from lateral to lateral, I think we can do some significant improvements.
Okay.
And then on the bottom, open just a little bit. And open, get right, there we go. Okay, all fixed.
Okay.
What are you looking to accomplish in terms of aesthetics? You want bigger teeth, wider teeth? You want to keep them natural and make them match your back teeth? What are your thoughts in your own words?
I would love to have wider teeth.
Wider, okay.
And I think every time I've tried to whiten my teeth, I could whiten the natural teeth, but never these ones.
Yes. Okay.
So I would like to have teeth that are all the same color.
Okay.
So maybe I think I can probably just whiten the sides if these were a little slightly whiter.
Yes.
I think the bottom, I would like it to be more straight, because I think when I look at it, the top is not like matched evenly, whereas
Yes.
the bottom, whereas the top is kind of like all straight.
Yes. Do you think that you show too much gum tissue on some of your teeth?
I don't know. See, that's why I need your opinion, because I also don't know.
So I think your teeth are short.
They said that last time too.
Yeah.
But then I also don't want them to be super long, because my face, I feel like it's like I have small features.
You have small features, but you have a long, slender face.
Yeah.
Okay. Proportion-wise, your teeth don't match your face type.
Okay.
So I think we need to engineer your teeth better.
Okay, that's
so,
exciting.
Yeah. So I want to pick teeth that I think are longer.
Okay.
And it actually lengthens your appearance too.
Oh, okay.
And I think that I can accomplish that by lasering your gum tissue.
Okay.
And so your smile will reveal more tooth, but we'll cover that with a veneer type material, ceramic,
Okay.
that's white, and that corrects the proportions of your teeth.
Okay.
In nature, golden proportions found everywhere, whether
Yeah.
it's in seashells or in flowers, but it's also found in human teeth. And your height to width ratio is not correct. And that could have been because of the trauma, okay?
Yeah.
I need to correct that. You're deficient in terms of the length, so I want to lengthen your teeth, but I don't want your teeth to become too long this way, because then you'll be like
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny-ish, right? I don't want that.
No, I don't want
We
that
have to
either.
go in the other direction where we reveal more tooth structure.
Got it.
So we'll likely lengthen your tooth structure on the edge just a little bit,
Okay.
but most of it will be corrected up by the gum line.
Got it. Okay.
And that's just from my visual observation of what I think will look good for you. Actually, can I have a gauze if you don't mind? Say 55 out.
5.
56.
56.
6.
6.
6.
6.
7.
7.
6.
6.
Okay. She does have a non-healing apical lesion on tooth number 9, so we'll make a note of that. Do you remember when the root canals were done on your two front teeth?
When I was two front teeth when I was 12.
12. Okay, so structurally, okay, when we do cosmetic dentistry, sky's the limit. I mean, we can do all of your teeth. Okay. And that's ultimately, what's called a full mouth reconstruction. So I can reconstruct all of them.
Okay.
And what we would do is we would have to prepare the tooth structure 360 degrees, removing some tooth structure to make room for ceramic. The ceramic that we can make any size, shape, color. But there has to be space for it.
Okay.
How do we make space for it? We remove tooth structure. Now, for some teeth, it might be detrimental from a health perspective to remove healthy tooth structure. But in order to make it look different, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
Okay. Some teeth, on the other hand, would benefit from it. So for example, the 2 teeth on the front, on the top, and on the bottom.
Yeah.
However, the other teeth, if we were to do that, it would sacrifice good tooth structure. But the end result, if done properly, is that that ceramic will replace the tooth structure that is removed because we chemically fuse it to the tooth.
Right.
And it would match the enamel, both in strength and optical clarity. Okay, so it's going to look beautiful. But if you're willing to go through that process, that's when we can do the full mouth reconstruction.
I'm willing to go through it just because I feel like I would rather have everything look uniform than just have two like sets of teeth that are
Yes, yeah.
beautiful.
Now, what I think we have to do is we have to come up with a strategy
Okay.
in terms of how to get this done for you.
Okay.
So just know that at the end it's going to look gorgeous, whether I do a crown or a veneer.
Okay.
I'll do what I think is best for the tooth, as opposed to just, blanketing everything as a crown when it may not really need it.
Okay.
The next best thing is a smile makeover through just the teeth that you can see visibly when you speak and when you're smiling. On the top, I see 10 teeth when you smile big, and on the bottom, I see about 8 teeth.
Okay.
And then it depends on what angle you're looking at, but I do think that we can consider 10 veneers in the top and 8 on the bottom. All dentistry, unfortunately, has an expiration date to it.
Right.
Even the best work. Because of the foods that we eat, the fact that the mouth is wet 24/7, and the sugars and the acidity of the foods that we eat. So all of it takes a toll to the ability for the dentistry to hold up long term. Okay. So at some point, obviously, you may have to have it readdressed. Okay. But objectively, is we want to help you keep it as healthy as possible, so that you can get the best lifespan out of it.
Right.
So if the dentistry is done well and the patient is doing a great job taking care of things, then it can last 20 years to a lifetime. Okay. But the reality is that the studies show that the work lasts generally about 10 to 12 years, then it needs to be replaced. Maybe not all of it, but something will happen during that time period where 1 or 2 teeth will need to be replaced.
Right.
So, that's something to keep in mind. Okay?
Yes.
Just know that obviously down the road, I may not even be practicing, who knows, right? So you'll have to figure that part out. I hope I am, and I'll still be there to take care of you, but that's a reality of the circumstance. So, okay. Questions, thoughts, or concerns?
No, honestly, I feel like you've covered it all. Pretty informative.
So that visit ended with me getting some x-rays, just so that they can take a deeper look into what my medical issues were. And so by the time I came in for my second visit, they were able to kind of take a deep dive into my medical history in terms of my teeth and kind of design a plan for me. So the second visit was actually really exciting, because that's when we got to take a look through all of the x-rays, where they got to explain everything to me as to where the trauma was, what they can do, and what the long-term effects would be if some of these issues were not treated properly. So that was like a huge learning experience for me, because I found out, some crazy things that I never even had really considered before, which was like eye-opening for me, and I was so appreciative of that. So then after that visit, the doctor explained to me what he would be doing, and basically the costs associated with the treatment plan that he had presented to me.
I'm going to start by taking some pictures, if I may.
Of course.
The pictures will help me quickly come up with what I would do for you, regardless of the terms of how we move forward.
Okay.
So in my mind, at least, I know what I can present to you as a best foot forward.
Right.
And accomplishing some of the goals that I think are things that we've discussed for you. So obviously in your case, you've got teeth that have been traumatized. So we have to do this from a health standpoint first and foremost. The reality is I want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, which is to also make it beautiful. Okay? So we want to accomplish both at the same time. Okay? So I'm going to grab my camera, make the lens for me, okay?
Just my face?
She's already got that fashion.
Really? I was very
You were, yeah.
This was like a driver's license photo.
It is a driver's license photo.
Can't make her laugh. My nose cramps to smile. Right.
Canine and lower arch. So 16 units. Okay. We're going to be doing porcelain to improve your smile all the way around. Okay. But it will be more of a combination of the restorative approach and surgical approach. I will do both in the same procedure, so it's not a separate procedure first. Traditionally, that's what they do, is they do the gum surgery, let everything heal. You know, this ugly duckling stage where it doesn't look very good while things are healing. I'll actually do the gum surgery and the tooth procedure, which is the restorative part, all in the same session. Okay. The question as to whether we do it in one visit or 2 visits, I'm not certain yet. I'm going to put some more thought into it. Carly, I really think that in her case, I probably want to go with zirconium, that HT10, to make it really pop. We want it to be comprehensive from a smile standpoint, because that's initially what you came in for.
Right.
But in that same token, we'll be able to accomplish health, because your front teeth have been traumatized and they haven't been restored properly.
Okay.
So we need to get them restored. I will tell you that the trauma that you sustain will require more dental treatment in the future.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
I will tell you that you likely will end up losing your front teeth at some point in time.
In life?
In
like
life.
when I get
In life.
older?
When you get older.
Okay.
I'd like to push that far down the road.
Yeah.
But I want to plan for it.
Right.
Because I don't want to wait till something breaks.
Right.
I want to do it proactively, because then I can control the outcome. When I know a tooth needs to come out, I'd rather not let it break and then try to figure out how to fix it, because we don't get the best aesthetic result.
Right.
If we do it proactively, where I know this tooth is going to break, let's remove it and replace it that visit with an implant, and that visit you get a tooth, then you get the best outcome from a
Right.
healing standpoint and a cosmetic standpoint. So I feel that, educate you on what I see, but for you to also be aware that the trauma that you've sustained, unfortunately, has already put an expiration date on your teeth. If I don't intervene, in 5 to 10 years, you're going to have some significant problems. If I intervene, I will buy you 10, 15 years.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. So this is just for your own knowledge. Obviously, I'm hopeful that I get to do the work in 10 to 15 years, but the reality is that if I'm not practicing, then at least you know,
Right.
and you're prepared for it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I would like to start her case with an all day. I will probably prepare and temporize her upper arch. If I can also do her lower arch, I will also do that in one visit. So I'll work efficiently to do that. I probably want to reserve the day just for her, so I don't know if I can accommodate other procedures.
Okay.
I can do hygiene checks for sure, but I don't think I can do any other procedures aside from ortho checks and that kind of stuff, whitening, that kind of stuff. So no other CEREC restorations that day, or implants or anything like that. Final restorations, once we go for that, obviously, we want them to be perfect, but this is such a transformation. It will become you. You won't know right out of the gate if you like it, love it, or hate it. And I don't want you to do any one of those, because you just need to let time pass, and it will become better looking, better aesthetically and health-wise as time passes, as everything heals.
Right.
That's an important component of it. Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, at the end of that healing phase, if there's something that you need me to tweak or refine, I'll do it. No problem. Okay. So that's my commitment to you from a patient standpoint. Okay.
Process was explained to me in detail about what would be happening throughout the treatment plan. I felt so much more comfortable, honestly, because I was really nervous about having to do this entire treatment again for the 4th time in my life, actually for the 3rd time in my life, and I just felt like I've experienced so much with my teeth already that I was just very nervous, to be honest with you. So I felt really amazing, honestly, leaving that treatment presentation, just because he had given me so much information, and I just felt like this was going to be something that I was going to be really happy with in the end. So I went in for my pre-op appointment where I got my teeth cleaned, and everything was just prepped for surgery on this day. And on top of that, they gave me some instructions to follow for the next couple of weeks before my surgery day, so that way my teeth were all set for the day that I come in for surgery. Throughout the entire process, they just kept educating me about what I could be doing better this time around to make sure that the longevity of my teeth were preserved.
So this is the tongue side of your bottom teeth, and you can see right here is where they accessed. This is a actual filling material.
Yeah.
This is where they went inside the tooth to complete that root canal.
Yeah.
This is where they went inside of that tooth to complete the root canal.
Right.
So it's just, you know, this is kind of giving you the backstory and the history on some of what has already happened to your teeth, but
Yeah.
also why it's so important that we get all these views just for our planning purposes.
Got it.
So I was going to show you, let me find it here, this tooth. This is your upper left premolar. So this is your canine.
Yeah.
This is the tooth right behind it. And here is a little, it's like a pie-shaped fracture of enamel.
Yeah.
So there's a little spot here where the tooth has broken.
Yeah.
And this is the softer inner layer of the tooth. So essentially, when Dr. Patel cleans this tooth up to restore it, we will clean out any decay, anything that will restore it and give it strength. So again, you didn't even know this was going on.
I had no idea. Is that why I felt sensitive there?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just because the enamel portion is missing.
Yeah.
And so it's really sensitive to like hots and colds and, you know, changes in temperature even.
Got it.
So what I basically did is just kind of went through, stain sometimes looks a little scarier than it needs to. Like sometimes people will see a stained groove and think it's a cavity.
Yeah, what is that?
This is your wisdom tooth. So as you can imagine, it's clear in the back of your mouth.
Yeah.
It's much harder to reach, and it has a lot more anatomical depressions. Like our wisdom teeth have a lot more nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
So because they're so hard to access, a lot of times they get these little grooves that get stained up.
Yeah.
But stain is honestly just an eyesore. It's only ever a concern if it's actually breaking through the enamel, where it would be like a cavity.
Okay.
So these are just areas that we kind of, the nice thing about white fillings, when they do them, patients don't really realize they're there because they blend in so nice.
Yeah.
But sometimes you also don't realize how large they are.
Yeah.
So like this premolar, this filling goes front to back.
Yeah.
So you can see, if you can imagine, when your teeth are biting together, you don't just chew straight up and down, you
Yeah.
clench and grind. So those little cusps flex. And so that filling is being held together by those outer walls.
Okay.
And that can over time create little fractures and sensitivities in the tooth.
Okay.
Again, the nice thing is when Dr. Patel cleans all this up, the tooth will be wrapped and protected with porcelain that's very strong, it doesn't flex, and it's going to prevent things from fracturing.
Awesome.
So that is kind of the preventative side of cosmetic dentistry, is that you're actually removing things that need updated as well.
Got it. So when surgery day came, I was so nervous. I don't know if you guys remember a few vlogs ago, I was going in for my surgery that day. I was honestly like really nervous, and it was one of those things that I was just like playing back in my mind constantly because I'd been through that process so many times. And obviously you guys know that with like oral procedures, like it's always painful. So I was just dreading the entire process. But honestly, they made me feel so amazing. Dr. Patel, he's just like one of the most comforting people I have ever met in my life. Like he's just such a human about this whole thing. I don't know if you guys have ever done, you know, medical procedures, but doctors are a lot of the time like just not the most compassionate people. But he was just like the nicest person. He just kept asking me if I was okay. Literally like every 5 minutes, he'd be like, are you okay? You're doing great. Oh my God, you're doing amazing. You know, like he would tell me how much more time we had. I think like one of my favorite things about this entire process has been the fact that I was able to get all of my treatment in one place. Given the fact that I had a huge history of like trauma to my mouth, this is the type of situation where I would have needed different specialists to like complete this entire process. And on top of that, you know, he made the veneer, like the porcelain veneers for me. I got to pick out the shade literally from a cube of porcelain all the way down to these teeth that you see today. So I was a part of the entire process, and it just made me feel so much more comfortable. And that to me is worth everything. And I think like reliability was like a huge thing for me. I wanted to be able to go to a facility that I have access to, like whenever I want, so that, you know, if I did have any issues, because I am always worried about what could potentially be happening in my mouth because of my injury, I wanted to have access to the doctor that, you know, does my treatment for me. So not only did I get to design my own teeth, I had them made that same day. It was just like such a beautiful experience, because while Dr. Patel was actually designing the teeth in a 3D machine, I took a nap. I watched, what did I watch? I got to watch Squid Games. I took a quick nap. It was just like such an amazing experience, honestly. Like, I wouldn't have traded it for the world. It's the facility itself is just like so like state of the art. They have everything you could think of. You know, it's beautiful, it's luxurious. They have like screens, just beds, like they have everything you could think of. Like, it's like such a comfortable place to be. You just literally don't feel like you're at a dentist office. So overall, honestly, I would recommend this to anyone. Not only has it improved my, you know, appearance, it's really given me my confidence back. And I know a lot of you guys weren't really able to see what the issues were, but for me, it's something that I have been struggling with since I was 6 or 7 years old. So to me, it was always like in the forefront. It's something that, you know, hindered me from, you know, just smiling when I'm face to face with people. And a lot of the times I would just kind of be like this, just so when people are close to me, they didn't really catch, you know, the inconsistencies in my teeth. So I'm so excited now. I don't have to do that anymore, because I feel amazing, honestly. And this is one of those things that I highly recommend as an investment to yourself, because a lot of the times, like, we're all out here buying bags and shoes and all of these things, and we tend to put things like this, you know, in the back burner because it's a lot of money. But you know what? It's worth more than anything else. Like, your face, your teeth, your well-being, it's literally priceless. So I know the burning question is, how much did this cost? So you have to keep in mind that I had a lot of work done. I had a gingivectomy done, which was basically shaving my gums down, because my gum tissue was softened during the trauma and like the recovery. So I actually had some of my gums shaved down. Dr. Patel did tell me that my teeth were slightly too short for my elongated face. So that was taken into consideration, and instead of giving me bigger teeth, he gave me teeth that were the same size, but like I have less gums at the top. So I had gingivectomy, and I did get 10 porcelain veneers at the top and 8 at the bottom. Obviously, it varies for every dental practice and every dentist, but this is like a general price range for if you're looking to do porcelain veneers. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm so excited and so happy with my, with my smile makeover. And I just feel like I'm entering 2022 as a brand new woman. I've lost weight. I've gotten my smile restored. I feel amazing about myself, and I couldn't have done this without the help of my dental team and as well as my personal trainer. And I honestly just feel like I put in so much work this year on self-improvement that, this was just like the cherry on top, the biggest cherry on top. So I'm so happy I did this. And thank you guys so much for noticing and all of the beautiful compliments. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much for watching. And I'll catch you in our next one. Bye, guys.